Okay, it took me a little while to clean up all of the old points because they were all on separate layers, but basically what I had to do is isolate each one of the point layers and erase them. For some reason, with the points on each individual layer by description, when I draw locate points and ask it to erase duplicates, it doesn't do it. So I had to isolate each one. I don't know if that was a bug in 2013. It's been fixed in 2014 or not, but that's what I had to do, and I erased the two contour layers. So that gets us back to basically just a raw shell of our polylines, or 3D polylines, 2D polylines, and etc. So I've got your new coordinate file set here as the coordinate file. So I'm just going to go ahead and go to points and draw locate points and draw all. And you had asked me how I resized those points down so that you could see them better. And basically I just go to points and resize point attributes, and it's asking me if I want to do scale or absolute. Scale, because it's got the greater than less than sign, means that if I hit enter, that's what it's going to select. So I'm going to go ahead and use the scale. And the scaler, I did, I believe, 0.25 the last time, so I'll just scale it down a quarter of the size that it already is. And it's asking me if I want to scale symbols only, points only, or both. And both is selected if I hit enter there, so I'm just going to hit enter because I want to do both. And then it's asking me to select the points that I want to do. If I just wanted to do a certain group of points, I could just do screen and pick those. But I want to do everything, so I could just hit number and do all, or since screen is already highlighted, I'll just hit enter for screen, and then I'll just type the word all to select everything. Okay, that selected 472 point entities to resize, and I'll just hit enter because we don't want to select anything else. So enter, and it's scaling the points, and we can see that they're reduced down. So now when we zoom in, we can see them a little bit better here. So this point number 76A, you had it busted last time. It was a busted shot because it was 5 feet higher. Let's take a look and see if that was one of the ones that you fixed. 784.05, 784.5, and then we've got over here on the tennis court, is there top of wall? Let's find the tennis court one. 784.91. So it looks like they've got just a little bit of slope on that court, about a foot over the width of it, which is seems reasonable to me. So it looks like maybe you've got those fixed. So the tennis court, even though you fixed the points, our lines are no longer connected to those points. We can see your new point is over here, and our tennis court lines are way over here. I drew this line. I'm just going to erase that to see where the points were. And this is our outer boundary that we created that goes all the way around our work area. It happens to come to that point. So you had changed 206 through 212, and 207 was deleted. So 212, I'm just going to grab this point and this point and move it over there, and that should fix that elevation on those. And I will find 211 here. It's moved a little bit, so we'll pick it and move it over there. And we can see that it's got a 784.91 elevation now. So that's 12 and 10 and 11, and we need to find 10. I'm just going to do the view and zoom to point number, and I want to go to 210, and I want to zoom in at like, oh, I don't know, 15. Okay, 210's right there. Let's fix that. And view, zoom to point, 209, 209, and about a 15 again. Okay, here's 209. And view, zoom to point, number 208, and about 15 again. So there's 208. And if I do a view, zoom to point, you deleted 207, I believe, so if we do 207, it's going to tell us it doesn't exist. And number, and 206, and let's do 15. So 206 is right here, court. And really that should be all we need to do. Now we should be able to contour it, and that should fix everything. I think you deleted a point over here or something. We had a bad point over here. 784, 784. Looks correct now. It's in a different spot though, so I'm going to pick this and move it over here. Fix that. And this one's a little bit different. Okay. Making sure not all of our points moved. It kind of looked like some of those extra ones moved. Alright, I think we got everything fixed. I was gonna view freeze layers by pick and get rid of the deed stuff here. Oops. And get rid of those deed points. I think they were on 0 anyway, so it wouldn't affect us, but just to be on the safe side, turn all those off. And now let's just do a surface, triangulate, and contour. No selection set. I'm not going to do the labels. The contours, you asked about the interval. I am doing contour by interval, and I'm doing the contour interval right here is 1, and it's on layer CTR. And I am doing the index contour, and it's an interval of 5. We didn't really talk about what contour interval you needed for this project. 1 and 5 is pretty common, so that's what I was using. Triangulation file, I do want to write the triangulation file. I do want to use the inclusion exclusions area. Ignore 0 elevations is correct. I already erased the previous contour entities, but if I hadn't, I could turn that on and just erase them that way. So I am going to write a triangulation file, so I'll do browse to give it a name. We just did the JJR. It probably already exists. I'm going to just replace it. OK. OK to override existing triangulation file, yes. Select the inclusion perimeter polylines or enter for none. We do want to use the inclusion, our boundary, and that's the only one. Select the exclusion. We want to exclude the house, and we want to exclude this shed, and I believe that's all that we wanted to exclude. Select the points and break lines to triangulate. I'm just going to select everything here on the screen, and right click to enter, and we should have our contours. Yeah, I can see a problem there already. It's showing us that one crossing break line again that we saw before, so I'm just going to exit that. But now it looks like we have a problem over here still. We're going from 784.75 to 785. Okay, you took that point out. I need to take it out and redraw. So we just take this point out as a not sure what you did there. Topo concrete, Topo TC. I got a couple. So that was a bad point from the previous. Okay, TC's tennis court. Okay. I'm just gonna undo. Okay, I think I see what you did. Undo. Let's get that node back in there. Okay. So that shot is now over here. I got a tennis court shot there too, and I got a wall shot there. And that's a wall shot. And this one's tennis court for some reason. 46. Well, anyway, let's try doing it again with that one. I still had that polyline around the tennis court had that bad point in it. So that's why we're seeing this little rise right here. So I'll just do the same triangulate contour. Everything will stay the same. I just OK, overwrite yes. Actually, let's escape out of that because I want to erase previous contour entities. So surface, triangulate, and contour. Turn this on and OK, yes, and that erases the contours for me. Inclusion is the outer boundary, exclusion, house, and the shed, and select all the entities. And I'm just going to exit that. We still have that same crossing break line, and that looks somewhat better. Our wall looks good here. Our stairs look good. We still got something funky going on here. So let's take a look at that. Looks like I've got, oh, that's the contour. It's got a busted elevation here somewhere. 784.46. $784. Okay, it's that line right there. That has a 789, and this one has a 0. So it was ignored. So this should go to this node, and this probably should go to it also. Not sure why we got two lines there, but concrete. Let's try it one more time. See what we get. Surface, triangulate and contour, erase previous entities, yes, overwrite, outer boundary, exclusion, exclusion, select everything, right click to enter, exit out of that. Beautiful. That looks pretty good to me. I don't see anything really out of the ordinary. This little drain kind of looking thing here is probably not exactly right, but other than that, it looks pretty good. There might be something going on over here. I don't know how that wall really goes. Got one little contour coming out here on the tennis court a little bit, but that's probably not wrong. Well, it looks good to me. You would have to tell me otherwise because I've never seen this site. So your next question was, how do you get it prepared for final plat? I'm just going to do a distance. I don't know what sheet size. You didn't mention a sheet size, so I'm just going to come up with a distance. That's 175 feet by 221. There's a couple different ways. Personally, I like working in paper space, model space, but I think that might be a little overkill for you. I'm just going to go ahead and work with the settings title block, the Carlson default title block, and assume that you want to do maybe a 24 by 36 or something like that. And you can fill in all of this information, and we can set our scale to whatever we want. Let's see, if I do the math, that was I forget what my numbers were. Okay, I see it there, 221. I would have to do the math, but yeah, probably somewhere about 10, maybe a 10 scale. Let's see how that fits. That might be too small. I'm not going to fill any of that in. I'm going to leave the margins half. And it's asking me to enter or pick lower left corner for the border. So we want the lower left corner. I'm going to assume that it's in here somewhere. Set limits. No, I don't want to set the limits, but the limits would just set this as basically a 0, and the limits of that drawings. No, I don't want to set that. And then we move our sheet, and actually 10 scale looks like it's going to be about right, and 1 inch equal to 10 for a site plan probably be pretty good scale. And you could fix up the title block however you want to. Right now it's a block. You would have to explode it and do your own text. Start adding your north arrow and whatever text you want. If you wanted to label the contours, we would just go into our surface and go to our oh shoot, where is it? Label, where's my label? Contours. Contour elevation label. Set our layer and our label type, and we've got the horizontal scale set to 10. Now that we know the scale, we can start doing some of this stuff. Text size scaler, if we wanted to do that. Prefix on the contour or above the contour. Ignore zero elevations, of course. Align text with contour. That's usually how I prefer it. Hide drawing under the labels. I prefer to hide it rather than break it. Draw a box around the label. Some people like that. I don't. Break contours at labels? No, I do not want to break them. Label contour ends? No. Label by distance? No. Label index only? Yes, I prefer to label the index only. You've got pretty few index contours, and seeing as it's a 1 inch equal to 10 foot drawing scale, you might want to label every contour, but I'm just going to show you how to do the index ones. You could also draw them on the real Z-axis. It doesn't really matter, but if you look at them in 3D, then you can see the contour labels. And that's pretty much it. You can set your decimals, how far it carries it out, but usually that's not the case on contour labels. And then it's just asking me to pick the first point or a polyline to and enter to end. So basically what it's wanting me to do is draw a crossing. So if I said, okay, I want a label right there, I'll just cross that one, and I put a label right there. Oh, why didn't it do it? Define a line which slices contours that place a label on them. I'm not sure why it's not labeling that one. Let's label this one. I must have done something wrong on my labeling there. Let's take a look at that again. Surface, contour utilities. I'll keep losing this. Contour elevation label. Horizontal scale is 10. Not sure why it's not letting me label that contour right there. I'm pretty sure it's an index contour. It must have the, assuming that the indexes are on a 10. So I'll just turn it off. And that's probably about all the labels I would throw on there. It kind of shows you the slopes and everything, which direction it's going. It's going downhill this way and downhill this way. But like I say, you can label however you want. I'm not sure that I like that text style for those. So you can pick whatever you want. You plot this out, take a look and see how tiny they are. And the text may be way too small. Looks like it probably is. And when you get ready to, I'm just going to exit out of that command. Probably the next question you would ask me is, how do I just turn the points off and leave all the lines on, since the lines are on the same layer as the points? Well, we just go into our layers and turn the attributes of those points off, which would be the point elevation. I'm going to freeze them, point mark, point number, and the description. And that gets rid of those. If we want to get rid of the nodes, let's see, points. To get rid of all these circles, I believe we would have to do PD mode and set it to 1. Okay, maybe not. Layer is that tree. There should be a symbol, point symbol layer I'm missing. I thought it would be point mark, but it's not turning it off. Wow, we've even got house mark elevation and description and grade and field. Yeah. That's probably why they're not going away. We've even got the elevation mark and description on different layers somehow. So we'd have to go through and turn every one of these off to get rid of the number, mark, elevation, and description on all those points. Still not getting rid of them all. Yeah, at some point we've done a separate everything, and that's not good. It's getting everything way too separated. It makes it really difficult. And that is on layer brick. So do we have a brick? Yeah, elevation description mark is turned off, but I'm still seeing the circles there, the symbols. Yeah. So, I don't know how to help you on that one. When we do this points and draw locate points, and you get the draw everything on its separate layer, it gets really complicated. Layer by description is fine, but we've done something where it splits up the I think that's under the settings, settings, Carlson configure, the group point entities. It looks like at some point that has gotten turned off, and that's what's given us all those layers. The point entities were no longer grouped, and it put it into all those separate layers. You don't want to do that. It makes it really difficult to work with this. I'm not sure how to get rid of the symbols there without turning the actual layer off. So if I turn brick off, that's going to turn the line off with it. Let's see, that one was step. So if we go to layer step, step, we've turned description, elevation, mark, The only thing left is step itself. And see, it gets rid of the symbol, but it also gets rid of our line work. I'm not sure why the symbol's not on a separate layer. And this drawing is all messed up. It's not how I would have done it at all. Trying to think of what would be the easiest way to fix it. Let me think for a minute. Okay, I was able to fix the points by going to the I'm not sure if it'll let me undo back that far. Oops, probably just messed up there. Yeah, maybe it will. Okay, basically I went to points, point utilities, and I changed point layer and color, and that allowed me to do both and change to the new layer name of points and put everything on points, and that way I can turn it off. So if I just go to the layers here, and now if I go to points and freeze points, we notice the points go away. We still have some point symbols, but we can freeze those also now without turning the line work off. Points, number, mark, elevation, description. That's not it either. Let's do edit or view, pick freeze, and pick that. And then we see the symbol just goes away, but the line work does not. So we still have all our line work and the symbols are gone. Alright, basically that should get you where you need to be. Just add if you want to add the tree symbols, I'll turn all those layers back on. So I'll just go to view, thaw all on all, and we got our trees. And we can go to draw symbols, insert a symbol, select trees here, and pick whatever tree symbol you want to use. I generally like this one, but that's totally up to you. I will pick that. Yeah, erase the existing point symbol. I generally don't. And you can put your trees in. We can see that that's really small, so we probably want to do the scale command on that. And select it from the center there and scale it up. Probably, I don't know, 10 times what it was. And if that's still not big enough, you can just keep scaling it. So we can do the same thing. Draw symbol, insert symbol, tree. We can set our scaler down here. Since I did 10 times, I can go ahead and set that to 5 so I wouldn't have to scale it again. So I could select this tree and this tree, no, and this tree, and there were some other trees somewhere. There's a tree. Grade. There's a tree. No. We kind of got those set on points deed. We should probably have them on the tree, a tree layer. Let's see if we have a tree layer here. One of those. I would probably just create a new layer called tree itself instead of each one by its name, because they might wind up getting turned off when we turn these off. So you might have to do something like go in here and do a new layer, new item, call it trees. Probably set them to green or something. And then pick each one of these. Bam, bam, bam. And this one up here. Bam. And change them to layer trees. You still got a lot of work really to get this ready. Your plot styles, I think we've covered all that before in other tutorials, setting up your plot style for your different colors. Or you can go in here and give these lines widths or however you want to do it. I prefer doing it in a plot style myself, but I think you're well on your way here to having a finished product. I just don't know what else you want to add to it. I'm sure you'll want to do a bar scale and some notes and shade the house. I would probably shade the house, create a layer, call it shading or something, or hatch. Hatch is probably hatch, house. We'll call it house, hatch. And I usually make it one of these lighter gray colors. I'll make it current, exit out of that, and draw some hatch. Pattern properties would just be solid. In the boundary, I'll select the entities, select this house, and should be it. And then I want to select that hatch, and I want to do the view display order and send it to the back. Send to back. Okay, and then I probably want to do the same with the shed and do it at another layer also. I would probably do shed hatch. So new layer shed underscore hatch and make it the same color. I didn't set it current. I want to set it current. And then draw hatch. Everything should be set already, so I just select my entity, select that shed, select it, view display order, and send it to the back. Obviously the fence probably doesn't go through the shed, so we probably need to fix that fence. You've got it as an individual line segment, I think. Yes. So to the end there, and I'm just going to copy Well, you've just got it as a line type. Then just set our layer to fence and draw another line. You just did a line, so I'm just going to leave it at a line. Like that. That probably fixes that. I would probably hatch the concrete. I would probably hatch the tennis courts. Maybe a different color hatch. Maybe a different hatch pattern. The brick, the stairs, all that I would probably hatch so that it stands out a little bit differently. And I don't know if it's a stone patio. I'm not sure exactly what I'm looking at here. So I think that gets you kind of going in the right direction. It's really just picking and hatching stuff. Now, if you decide to hatch this, it's not closed. So you would have to close this off by bringing this line on around. Draw you a little line here all the way around. Like, I'll just show you real quick. Let's just draw 3D polyline. We'll just keep it as a 3D. And I'll just do from here to 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 here, and then we'll edit 3D polyline utilities, join 3D polyline. We'll just join these two up, and it should be one solid object now that I could hatch. And that's the concrete. I usually do the hatch for the concrete just a little bit lighter. I do a new layer, concrete hatch, and I will make it a little bit lighter and set it current. Close that, draw, hatch. I think it'll hatch the 3D entity. I'm not positive. Maybe not. No. So let's do a copy. We'll copy this from just one of these endpoints to one of these endpoints so that we have two of them. So if I do an erase and do a crossing here, we actually got 4 entities there. Probably should check it here. 2 entities. Alright, so we got 2. One of them we want to make a 2D, so I want to do edit polyline utilities right here, 3D entity to 2D entity. The elevation will be 0. So we'll select that, and that'll give us a 0 elevation that we can hatch. So draw, hatch, select entity. You can select that, and now we should have some hatch. And then select it, select the hatch, select the hatch. It's not letting me select the hatch. Sometimes it's hard to get a hold of that hatch. Remove. No, it's not what I want to do. So region. And it doesn't look like I need to send it back. It looks like it's already in the back anyway. It says that's concrete also. Okay, this is brick. And this is concrete. So if I can get a hold of that hatch like that, I can edit entity properties. I think I can edit the hatch pattern here. color from solid. Let's try making it, I don't know, brick pattern or something. And we would need to make it a little bit smaller probably, I don't know. Try 0.5. Yeah, it's a little tighter, might even have to go smaller than that. Try 0.2. I would have to look at that. I'd have to print that to see if that looks good. And then I would probably rename that to brick. And then also make a new one called concrete. And make it that same lighter gray. Set it as current. Close that. Okay, we've got that is a non-close. See, it says closed is false, so it's not going to hatch that. We would have to close it, and ideally we would want to include these steps all the way down and go all the way around our concrete outer boundary. Usually I just create a hatch boundary polyline and just draw 2D polyline all the way around at 0 elevation. So I'll let you play with that. If you don't like the hatch, you can just turn those layers off. Do however you want, but as long as you have it set to the back, you can put text over top of this. You know, call it house, shed, you know, brick. Put it in your legend, however you want to do it. But as far as the contours are concerned, we're pretty much done here. I think it looks pretty good. If you have any more questions, just pass them along.